fans, here we go. SparStar Promotions is proud to present the rerounds of mixed martial arts in the bantamweight division. This bout is sponsored in part by Mexi Goods. Once again, our referee in charge of this bout, George Gallegos. And now, introducing to you first, on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, he is wearing green and white trunks. He is training out of Premier's in San Diego. He weighed in 136 pounds. His record, 3 wins, 5 losses, with 1 win coming by way of submission. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the King, Julyan Hanna. His opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. He is wearing black he is wearing the dark side colors of the Den. He is training out of the Den Training Center in Yorba Linda. He weighed in 134 pounds. His record, 4 wins, 5 losses with 2 wins coming by way of stoppage. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Christopher Zercher. All right, fans, here we go. The rerounds of mixed martial arts in the bantamweight division.
Well, excited for this one, John. We're going to get off to the races here. Julyan Hanna, Christopher Zercher.
Zercher just sprints across the cage.
Well, we were mentioning a little bit earlier, Zercher is somebody who took a few years off of MMA. His journey continues, but he's got a game opponent in one of our Fight of the Year individuals in Julyan Hanna.
Yeah, Hanna is no slouch, so any fight that he's in is going to be something that you're not going to want to miss.
And he has been on his social media telling people to get their popcorn. He has been telling them, get ready for this fight. He is going to give us a fight.
Ooh,
that's a solid connection here.
Yeah.
And
left high kick, left hook. Both right to the head. Zercher is switching back and forth stances, orthodox to southpaw. Good left jab. Stiff. And the showmanship from Zercher, too.
Zercher looking very loose. He's trying to almost calm into a lull here. Goes overhand here. Julian tried to catch that kick, didn't quite have it there. In this particular case, you know, it doesn't really show like Zercher has too much ring rust for really taking those 5 years off. He looks pretty sharp there. Julian does connect in that end of that exchange.
Yeah, Zercher's interesting. He's got like this kind of herky-jerky style a little bit, but sometimes when fighters visually look like that, it's very difficult to time them and counter.
Might have been a poke to the eye there.
I think so, yeah.
So just to point something out here on that particular series of exchanges, you know, from those initial contacts, you were seeing Zercher start to connect really well. You might lose in that series that Julian was attacking that leg. So it looks like he's been targeting that leg consistently throughout that first minute and a half of action there. So not to be outdone there, it almost looks like they just have two opposing viewpoints on where they're trying to attack. We'll see how long the Zercher takes here. He does, I believe, have 5 minutes. We'll look a little bit at the action here. Yeah, you're going to see
it was
just that.
It was the thumb, the first hand that was up there, yeah.
And if you watch consistently, like Julian keeps his hands up like that. Like usually the fingertips are kind of spread out as he puts them in front of the face. So it is something that you kind of do expect. And it doesn't look like Zercher takes too much offense to it. It's hard to fight with 2 eyes, let alone 1. So they return back with 49 seconds left in round number 1. And again, you're seeing Julian go right back to chopping away at that lead leg. Like, I think he wants to soften him up here. And then, as you've mentioned, he's been switching stances here, so it's been hard to kind of track where that lead leg slips to.
Yeah, it looked like Hanna was going for that low calf kick on Zercher. Oh, steps in really far. Nearly gets hit, but able to avoid all the real damage. Zercher is pointing off into space as just a way to distract Julian. Now Julian switching to southpaw for a second.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good flurry there.
And you wonder, like, how long patiently Julian's been waiting to do that. Like, you know, Julian's trying not to unload and be expanding all of his energy, and he's been in those fights that go all 3 rounds. So I think he kind of knows, like, you know, you might be here for a minute. Don't bust all that energy out just yet. So, a very interesting first round.
It looks like Julian caught a low blow on Zercher there right at the very, very end, too. But the ref didn't see it, they didn't stop it, and then the fight was over as they went to engage again. That's the next time.
So they're already talking about how he wants to switch. If you're looking over at his coaches, just maybe how he's rotating the hands. You know, he's going over top, and I think you're seeing him talk about how he wants to develop the knuckles there. And Julian on his side, giving his team the updates, letting them know, yeah, no, he knows what he wants to make for adjustments. But we're going to get into the second round now.
Yeah, you see Julian apologizing for the low blow at the end of that last round.
I mean, Julian is definitely one of those people who has those 2 personalities. The guy I got to interview, nice, super sweetheart. The guy who's in that cage, savage. If you've ever seen the photo of him, that's all just red kinged out with the face, the crimson mask. Dude, he goes for it.
Yeah, and I think the stepping in, when he steps in orthodox with that jab, sometimes he steps in a little bit too far, but I think that flurry came off of, he switched stances to southpaw, so let's see if that plays a factor. Oh, good lead leg kick from Zercher.
Interesting.
Good left hook from Zercher.
You know, I think part of that may be, I think that Julian figures he gets some good power there. And I talked to Kevin Lizardo, his dance partner in that fight of the year, and he was telling me, he's like, you know, he punches really hard. Like, Kevin's had some good fighters over the years, but he had nothing but respect to say for Julian's power. So it's very, very elusive, I think, to a lot of people. Good kick there from Zercher.
Yeah.
And yet at the same point, Zercher's been so elusive, you know, it's hard to keep him standing still. So you're seeing both of the ways that they kind of get you off your game. Like, for Zercher, it's a herky-jerkiness that you were talking about a little bit earlier. And for Julian, I mean, like, the way he stops his pivots that he's doing off of this, they have been fun to watch, and now really coming to his own, where he's kind of like leading in with all of those.
Yeah, Zercher's also switching stances pretty frequently. Yeah, but Julian just, it seems like every once in a while when he's going for a specific setup and another spinning back fist and a flurry off of it.
And I mean, Zercher, that was him being put under pressure, and he looked pretty calm at the end of those spirals right there. Now coming back to center of the action. We got 1 minute left in round number 2.
Oh,
and again,
good leg
look
kicks.
At the targeting. Like, when he finds the lead leg, and nice over the top from Zercher, I do wonder if we may be getting to a point where there may be a point reduction here.
Well, I don't think they saw the
last one.
Yeah,
I don't know how long this goes in. The referee's now talking over to Hanna, who doesn't seem to necessarily be disagreeing with him. But that is going to extend just the time of this particular fight. Like,
this one I didn't even see personally. I'd be curious to know like what kick it came off of. I'm assuming because he was really going to town on that lead leg with leg kicks. I'm wondering if it was like one of those.
Well, think about how the way they're switching their stances so consistently.
Yeah.
Both of them in a very drastic way so that it makes sense that you might be targeting something, but you almost have to target where they're heading in the future, and that is a difficult skill to have. See, again, here, now,
double jab,
leaning into it, and they both connected on that last one.
So notice when Hanna, he'll throw this right rear kick, and he'll leave it out there and then switch stances with it. And look to, that's where he's staying in southpaw for a second. See if he can set something up. I think that's when he's going for his blitz with just the 1-2s.
Yeah, and again, 12 seconds left to go in this round. Just, again, look at how much.
That was a good right hand. Jumping guillotine. Not enough time to finish, I wouldn't think. This is a deep one, though.
Deep, but he's going to survive that. And you see Zercher telling his coach, or telling, I guess, somebody off to the side, just that close.
And I got to say, I think that I think it would be difficult to give Zercher that round in general, but the finish to it looked really good. He hit him with a good stiff punch. And then jump to that guillotine, and then maybe a little bit of like showmanship, just playing it up to the judges, like, oh, it was very close, like be curious to see how much the judges put that weigh that in when they're factoring.
There's always been a part of me that wonders if like the judges go in the last 10 seconds, they go, nah, none of this matters. I've already made my decision. I've always wondered how much those last 10 seconds actually play.
I think it just depends on the judge.
Sure. One of these days, I want to see a judge do that thing where they close their eyes and nod, like, Well, that changes things for me. Like they're an undecided voter in the middle of November that goes, yes, I see things now.
They've been swayed.
They have been swayed. Again, Zercher still looking pretty loose here. We will see what happens in this last round.
And there's the southpaw, from Hanna. Oh.
You see both of them a little bloodied up.
Yeah, Julyan Hanna's nose was leaking pretty good at the end of that second round. Stepping in with that jab with the left hand is Hanna. Curious to see if the stance switching coincides with their partner's stance switching at all. Zercher just seems to be switching stance just constantly, but Julyan Hanna, I don't think he's basing it off of Zercher's stance necessarily. Oh, yep, and they're opened up the nose again.
It seems to be a little bit of a target for him now to be consistently going and really at this point zeroing in on. And again, Julian hasn't let up on targeting those legs. It just hasn't seemed like it's built up enough. So it'll be a question. Like, you don't see it physically, but you do wonder if it's enough points that he does put up here.
Zercher doing better in this round.
And again, right now, 1:30 left to go. Julian now pushing him up against the cage.
Good left
Has
from
to be
Julian.
careful about getting pushed back in, but now gets a huge takedown. That is a big opportunity, and that is a very critical takedown at this time.
Yes.
Julian spotted that well with just a little bit of time remaining here. If he can stay in this position, now he has to be very cautious about staying in that guard from here. If I'm him, I'm trying to let go and start to strike from inside the guard, because look at that. Now Zercher knows he's in this guard, he's not going to get as much offense. He's getting those kind of mini kicks in. He probably wants to look for a sweep here because he does have enough time. So instead, he's going to go compression with this body triangle, kind of close guard. Opens it back up. And Julian's trying to get in a few of these small little peppered in punches here. But this really comes down to preference. Like, who are you seeing do more? And look at that.
I mean, those heel kicks, I can't imagine the judges are like factoring those in as very significant strikes. I mean, it's better than nothing for sure.
Sure.
But I think that this is not where Zercher wants to be.
No.
He's got an overhook, but he's not doing much with
20
it.
seconds here. You can see him. He's probably going to try and throw up like a desperation, like triangle or an armbar here. But the problem is 13 seconds. is not a ton of time to react off of this one. And opening up your guard there, it is a risk. And Julian did just lift him all the way back up, and they finish the fight like that. All right, it's going to be an interesting fight announcement here coming up in a second, but if Julian wins, I do feel like that takedown might have been the biggest kind of thing that leads it. If it's that close, or maybe he had a slight edge on some of these strikes, but that first initial kick from Zercher, there's a lot of question marks here, John, so we'll find out the answers to them shortly.
We will. We'll see you in there, Raph. Thank you so much. And here, they're going for this takedown. And this is the one at the end of the round where Zercher pulled the guard and tried to guillotine off of it. Here's that foot sweep. Beautiful timing on that.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, once again, let's give both fighters a big round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to our scorecards. We have a split decision. Judge at cage side, Carlos Shad scores about 29-28 in favor of Zercher. Judge at cage side, Mark Reyes scores about 29-28 in favor of Hanna. And judge at cage side, Chris Crail scores about 29-28 in favor of our winner by split decision, the red corner, Christopher Zercher!
Well, I want to do an interview with you right now, so let's look at this camera right here. All right, I'm here with your winner, Christopher Zercher. I mean, it was a very close fight. What are your initial feelings after that technical war between you guys?
I'm just want to give the glory to God first, and also just thank you for my family, my friends, and my team right here at the Dan Training Center. I feel really good coming into this fight. A lot of adversities, but came in here and got the job done.
I want to ask this. You weren't fighting for about 5 years. Things come up. Things come up in people's lives. What brought you back to fighting?
I just love fighting. I just love getting in here, competing. Just a lot of mental. Everybody who knows about fighting, it's all mental. So coming in here, felt really mentally strong. I got a good team behind me, so I'm just very grateful that I'm able to compete out here like that.
Well, you look great. You look so loose. And what I like about watching you fight is you look like you're at your purest fun form. Like that's you having a blast, even though it is incredibly stressful. You look like you're having the most fun in here.
Yeah, that was the most relaxed I've ever felt. And I displayed my striking. I think everybody knows that I have. But I'm not just a striker. I'm an all-around MMA fighter, as you can see. So thank you so much for showing out. We got 3 more of my teammates fighting. We have Ed Medina, Kyle Pierce, and Andrew Rodriguez. So it's going to be bangers. If you thought my fight was good, just wait for them. And Jay. So it's going to be great.
You just fought. It's okay. That you should have bullet points. They're going to help you out here. I'm going to ask one last question, which is this, sir. What happens next for you? What would you like to do?
Let's get back in here, and I want to compete as much as I can and take it to the next level.
Well, congratulations on your win here. A pleasure to meet you. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your winner, Christopher Zercher.